Hi everyone, so I have an update here on my Nabu. As you can see, there's a lot of things have been taken off since last time I showed it to you. I removed this disc module that was sitting in this second slot here. Removed the front cover, the LEDs and the buttons. My initial plan here is to try to take everything, or separate all the parts and clean them all individually to try to get the best cleaning, but I was having a lot of trouble getting this PCB out of the case, and I decided it wasn't really worth the time or the risk. So you can see there's 6 of these orange posts here that are holding the PCB on. You kind of squeeze the tab and you're able to lift the board up off it. The problem I was having though is if you can squeeze them enough to get to wiggle the board up, that's great, which you can do on this side, but because of the enclosure over here, you're not able to get anything underneath this side of the board to lift it up. So I was able to lift this side of the board a bit, but not this side that's flush up against the enclosure. So I wasn't able to get much movement on these pins on this this side of the board, and I was able to get more progress over here, but I wasn't able to do it evenly at all, so I was worried about bending the board too much, and I just decided that it wasn't really worth the risk or the time to try to get it out, and that I'd be able to clean it, I guess, sufficiently just in the case. So I went at it with a soft paintbrush and then isopropyl alcohol, rubbing it in with a toothbrush and Q-tips, so I spent a while with that. There's certainly a fair amount of grime on it once you get into it. But before I realized I didn't want to take the whole board out, I had removed all the connectors. A word of warning, I guess, to anyone who wants to remove this power connector for whatever reason. It's a bit of a challenge. You can see on the power supply module here, there's these 3 sets of connectors here where this attaches, and each one of those has its own push tab on the bottom that you need to push to release the hold that it has on this connector. And so you have to push all of those at the same time, which is particularly challenging due to this this front panel being right here. So I actually had to remove the screws from the power supply PCB here and lift it up in order to be able to push all of those tabs down at the same side. And kind of interesting to see the back of the board here. I'll definitely get a few photos of that and put them up online if anyone's curious to see what was being used there, as well as how they've done the wiring down here. I thought that was fairly interesting. Yeah, as well, I took off the front panel. This is where I found quite a number of dead bugs on the back of this and other grime. So that was a bit of a surprise. I didn't think that was going to be the worst part of the cleaning, but it turned out to be. And I took a crack at the rest on the front. I know there was a few suggestions to use brake cleaner on it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that yet. I was a bit worried how it would treat the plastic or the writing on the front cover, so I've been using just rubbing alcohol as well on this so far, and I've made some progress, but I'll have to look for some other solutions to get that finished up. Yeah, I guess one other thing I wanted to mention, if for any reason you need to get at this LED board, the reset switch here has to come out in order to get the LED board out, so just keep that in mind if that's something you're looking to do. The other thing I'll mention about the LED panel is when you take it off, there's a couple of these clear, or I guess white plastic spacers, and I didn't actually see where they came from when I took it off. I suspect they were separating the PCB from the front enclosure, but I'm not completely sure about that. So if anyone is able to see on their Nabu or is doing something similar and can tell me where those plastic spacers go, that would be great. So just keep an eye out for those if you do take off your LED panel. So I wanted to point out a couple quick things with the disc module here, the FD controller. I have some photos that I put up online of the front and the back, and the connector, and with this center chip here, this the bigger one removed, so you can see the traces behind it. So if anyone's looking for those, I'll put a link down below for those. One thing I noticed while I was cleaning it is you can see there's one of the traces is seems to be scuffed or cut to the point where it looks like it's not making any connection anymore. And you can see that in the photos I put up as well. I noticed it when I was cleaning. I looked back at some of my original photos of this, and it looks like it's been there since I got the unit, so I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure. Not sure exactly how that happened, or it looks like a fairly clean scuff, so I'm wondering if it was even intentional. But if anyone has any thoughts on that, that would be interesting to hear. So I know there was also some interest after my first video about taking a look at the contents of the EEPROM here with this version 13 CF, and I'll hopefully have that for you guys pretty soon. I actually received a EEPROM reader in the mail today that I ordered a little while ago for another project, so that was convenient, and I'll try to get that up soon. One other interesting kind of article I came across, I hadn't seen this one before, I guess about the Nabu Corporation a bit more, and kind of some thoughts on why it failed. So I thought it was an interesting read, so I'll put a link for that down below as well. So I think at this point I'm content for now with how clean the unit is, aside from the rust on the front panel that I'm still working on. So I think at this point I'm going to start putting things back together and getting this online, because I'm really excited to play some of the games and get started with playing around with what I can do with the Nabu software. So I hope you guys are interested in seeing that, because I'll be continuing to upload what I'm up to, and I hope you guys will join me for more videos in the future.